Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you happen to be. This is Wooten, and I have an interesting story for you today. You see, it's about Paul. When he was a boy, like in the 8th grade, he read the novel Ivanhoe. And ever since he read that novel, he wanted to be a writer. And he worked on writing things, and he even got on the high school annual and their newspaper. Then he went to college, and he started taking some literature classes and some writing classes because he's going to be a writer. But then reality set in. Yes, he wanted to be a writer, but he checked what the salaries would be for working at a newspaper, and they were very, very little. And how do you get a book published overnight? You can't. So he talked to his brother and decided that he would be a policeman, because this would give him a lot of opportunities to be involved in emotional transactions, incidences where he could learn about life and then could write about them. So he modified his studies some, but he still worked on this wanting to be a writer. And he became a policeman. But before he became a policeman, another thing interrupted his life. And this was love. He fell in love with this girl that he met at college. He was determined he was going to be a writer and then later would take care of any personal matters. But the bug of love bit him. So here he finds himself married, happily though, and with 2 children. Happily again. But it really sidetracked his goal of being a writer. But he didn't give up. He would work as much as he could. And what he would do sometimes, like this one night, he stopped this couple. The man was driving, and he stopped him for running a stop sign. And he determined that the man was under the influence of alcohol. So he arrested him. He checked the wife, and she was not under the influence, so he let her take the car home. And he thought about it, and he wrote up a normal report about it, and then he said, wait a minute, I got to do something different about this report for myself. So he pulled over the side of the road and took off about half hour. And he wrote this report that was just beautiful, grammar-wise, description-wise. What it was about is this gold Cadillac that hit a deer in the road, and they had to pull over, and they had a little dent because of this deer's horns. And he goes on and describes the people, how beautiful and handsome they were, and all their clothes and this and that. But he found the man was under the influence and had to arrest him. And the report just went on and on with all kinds of, things describing these people, but not too much detail, just enough so you definitely could picture them in your mind. Well, he just turned the report in. He didn't want to turn that report in. He hopefully turned in his regular report. And about 3-4 months went by. And one day he goes to the office, and there's a note in his box that there's going to be, it was Mr. and Mrs. Smith was the name of the people. There was going to be a trial for Mr. and Mr. Smith, concerning this drunk driving. And could he be court Tuesday, normal, time, etc. Oh, okay. Gee, that's strange. Most cases plea out. So he goes to court, and what they do typically, court doesn't start until maybe 10 o'clock, but he has to be there by the rules and regulations of the police, but 9 o'clock for sure, to meet the DA. And then at that time, he brought the file with him so he could sit down and review the report, because he hadn't seen it for 2 months. So he went in this little room. They use the jury room when it's empty. And he sat there in the jury room looking over this report. Oh my God. No. He didn't. And he signed it under penalty of perjury. He submitted his glorified report. The other report wasn't even there. He had this guy driving a gold Cadillac, hitting a deer. Oh my, none of that was true. And he signed it under penalty of perjury. Oh my God. Oh my, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get fired. And now my wife is expecting our third child. Oh God, he was just shaking and scared. And then he didn't know what to tell. He didn't know if he should tell the DA or what he should do. But what am I going to do? I got a wrong report here. And he looked through the file and couldn't find the correct report. All he had was his glorified report. So the DA comes in and he says, I've talked to this guy's attorney and I met him. He's kind of an all right guy. You know what? If you don't mind, I'm going to suggest a reduction to a dry reckless. We didn't want to seem too eager. He said, well, no, he was a nice guy. I'll agree to that. So before he could leave the court, though, they had to make sure the guy actually entered his plea. So he went in front of the judge with the DA, and there, his public defender was this laziest public defender there ever was. Most of them are good, but this one, because he is sure that nobody read that report. There was no gold Cadillac, and they described this guy almost like Mr. Atlas, and here he was, a 225-pound, 5'3" gentleman. Anyway, they entered a plea. He ran home back to the office because the day was hardly over. And he sits down at his desk. Oh, God, I could have got fired. I even could have got prosecuted for perjury. And there's a note on his desk from his commander. Please see me now. Oh, God, maybe he found out. Oh, no. What am I going to do? So he goes into the commandant's room, and the commandant holds out his hand and shakes it. Congratulations! What? Huh? What? Yes, I read your report in this Smith case, and I want you to know that report was perfect English-wise, grammar-wise, description-wise. It was a beautiful report. And I want you to know that it's going to be part of our files when we teach the cadets on how to write a good report. And I further want you to know that here I'm giving you a gift certificate for $75 dinner at one of our local restaurants. Thank you very much. I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. I turned and left, and I smiled at myself. You know what? I'm a professional writer. I got paid for writing. Wait until I tell my wife. Thank you.